Testing. Some good music. So those ladies and gentlemen that are listening here on another streaming service other than Fireside or to a replay, we are live on Fireside. So we are just letting the wait bot do its thing while the crowd fills up, and we'll be with you in just a moment.
And counting. It feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Awesome. Welcome this week to Shotgun Candy. AC, brother, how are you? Uh-oh, no sound, man. No sound there. Just swiping out the app. That's happened to me before. Swiping out the app. No sound.
I have a mute button here on my... Yeah,
gotcha.
I know what's going on.
Gotcha.
My mute button here, the mute button here. It's a lot of mute buttons. Good morning, everybody. How you doing?
Good morning.
I'm doing fantastic. To answer your question, man. What a week.
But unfortunately we have we are missing one person this week.
I noticed that. What's going on?
Our boy Elvis is not able to make the show this week. However, he has got a mutual friend of ours to utilize his profile and see if he can pop up for the show, which we hope that the folks for Shotgun Candy don't mind that. So we're going to just bring him up. Why not? We didn't want to bring him in the intro song that is Elvis's intro, but
it's true.
We're going to bring him up right now. So let's see how we go. Here we go.
You think they'll be okay with this? Like this is an abrupt change.
I think he should be okay with this.
Okay, all right.
Invite to video mode there.
Oh, hey there. How you going,
We've got Mr. Nielsen. How about that, Mr. Nielsen? Welcome.
You ever play this Angry Birds thing? This is fucking stupid. I don't waste my time with that nonsense.
Oh, man.
I'd rather hear guys talking about dicks and farts and things like that, like you guys. I love this show. You talk about shit all the time. Love it.
I can't deny that. Have you caught the show over in Australia?
Not really, but I heard about it.
You heard about it?
I heard it's good. You talk about shit all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can't deny that. Somehow shit always gets into the conversation, but hey, man,
I'm
welcome.
lying. I'm a big fucking fan.
That's fantastic.
I love you guys. You're fucking great.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much for being like a stand-in.
I don't really know about you. What's AC stand for? Another cunt? Here we go. This another right here. Just saying.
Rip me open. We're not even on 5 minutes.
Every 9 months, I go out to my daughter's fucking house in the backyard and they say, oh, great, another cunt. Because she has another kid.
She does. So for those that are unfamiliar, Mr. Nielsen is actually the father of Lisa Nielsen. Lisa Nielsen, the infamous voice on stereo. He had to join us today. He's from Perth, Western Australia, from my hometown. We have never crossed paths, Mr. Nielsen. I would never like to chest bump a line like you, but I am glad that you're here with us on the show today. I know.
If we had, you'd be remembering it. I guarantee it. You stay away from my daughter. She's as fertile as a fucking cabbage patch. You walk by her, she gets fucking pregnant.
A strong breeze.
I want to preface the show a little bit here before we go on today. If anyone wants to leave any voice messages, here live on Fireside is the way to do it by clicking on our Instagram link, Shotgun Candy. Leave a recorded voice message in the messages, and I'll be able to play them. And actually, when a message drops in on the screen or through Instagram, you'll hear this sound in the background. This is just to alert the boys that a message has come in without me trying to have to cut them off. It's just a bit of a cue. So, and speaking of that, one has come through just now, just straight away.
Put me fucking tray table up, right?
There you go, bang. A couple of messages. So this is for the Android users that want to, kick in from the side and leave a message. By speaking of sharing it around, though, if everyone can hit the share button, we want this to go out worldwide. We want to push Shotgun Candy out. If you can click the little share with the followers here on Fireside, share with the world. We're serious about that. If we can get used to share with just one or two friends and get them to share it over time, this thing will grow like fuck, like you would not believe. Yeah. So, but in saying that, boys,
and not just us, dude, for all your friends, all the shows that you love, share their shows. Let's grow everybody's community. This place is raring to go with new people. So don't hesitate to share it. Send it to people on Instagram. Let's do this.
I agree with you. I like that idea.
Gentlemen,
finally.
Two in the bank there straight away, and it's actually from your daughter there, Mr. Nielsen. She wants to say hello, so here we go.
Right.
Hi, Shotgun Candy. How are you? Dad, what are you doing up there?
I'm doing the fucking show, I am.
Show? I just come to see Elvis. He's like my favourite. What are you doing here? Hi, AC. How are you? Hi, Rocks.
Hi, sweetie. How you doing? Well, good morning. Thank you for being here.
She's got a follow-up message right after that.
I tell Lisa to go to bed, but she always takes a fucking fella with her.
Because I need to say something to the boys on Shotgun Candy. Guys, Dad, just cover your ears. I don't want you to listen. Guys, I'm a little bit excited about Vlad The Impaler. Yeah, because I like to be impaled myself a little bit.
Lisa,
we heard. Your dad's here, man.
That's too much fucking information, Lisa.
TMI. Did you hear that? Did you hear all that? So, yeah.
I don't want to hear that. You know how many times I hear her moan? I think it's fucking bush babies out in the backyard on fire. She's like, yeah, Daddy. Hey, I'm like, no, not me.
Everybody fucking pray for me, by the way. I'm on the show with two Aussies, and I don't even know what to expect here. I'm the only Yank. So if you guys want to help me out with some comments. Yeah. You sure about that?
I'm a world citizen. Everywhere.
What are your credentials, Mr. Nielsen? I heard you're a pretty big deal. How would one know you? What's your claim to fame?
I'm the Mr. Nielsen, I am. There's only one. Actually, I was voted best new content creator on the fucking stereo app. That shithole fucking. That's like a fucking gay bathhouse in Greece. That fucking shithole over there. I hate that place.
Right.
I just won that despite those sons of bitches.
Yeah, you didn't even want it.
I threw it away. I did more like a Kanye on it. I pissed it in the fucking bathroom. It meant nothing to me.
Right.
I've had taken shits that I've missed more than fucking that award there.
Yeah.
Just flashed one this morning. I was like, sad to see you go there, buddy. I feel you fucking fine. Go ahead.
So you don't want to, so you didn't want to keep it around. Like you won best content creator, and suddenly you were like, you know what? Forget this shit and throwing this thing away. I don't need it, but we'll remember it because
I don't want to be part of a fucking club that would have me as a member. It's a George fucking Carlin joke there.
It's me as a member. Anyway, well, that's Mr. Nielsen. We're Rocstedi and AC, and welcome to Shotgun Candy, episode 9. We're going to talk about Dracul, Vlad the Impaler. Anybody seen the Bram Stoker movie? Clap it up if you guys have.
A graphic film like that. Had a guy with a fucking dongle like that.
Me as well, yeah. But he had a bunch of Sheilas, vampire Sheilas.
That's all right. Except they don't fucking die. They never go away. They're forever.
God, just yap forever for eternity. So anyway.
Vampire, don't fucking marry him because it's the fucking long haul. Just saying.
So, yeah. I mean, for the rest of your life, for sure.
I didn't know he was a Dracula. I thought he was just a fucking Russian guy with a big sword and all that. 2 big swords, if you know what I mean.
Good job on that. Yeah, actually, he is. He is 2 things, because the lore around him and the mystique and kind of like the stories that were told about him, because he was such a brutal leader. And you're going to see a lot of his follies too. Like, he wasn't perfect, but then again, he was brutal in what he did. So people really respected him. So Vlad the Impaler, if anybody knows a little bit about him, obviously what we know might not be completely accurate. So we'll try to put it together as best we can.
He's a big dick Dracula.
He's got big dick energy. He's a BDV, big dick vamp. So.
Oh,
you feel free to move about the camera.
Message straight.
Go for it before we start.
Straight from Lisa. Here we go.
Shit.
Dad, I never heard anything about him having like a 13-inch dong, okay? And if he did, I think I'd know, only because I like to research, and I'm a bit of a hussy too.
Research. I'm sorry.
There you go. That's from Lisa. Thanks, Lisa.
Lisa. Jesus fucking
Keep it in your pants, Lisa. Keep it in your pants. All right. We're going to talk about some impaling, and it's not the type that you're used to. So, I hope everybody's watching the kids.
Hey,
here we go.
watch your fucking mouth. That's me daughter. You fucking cunt.
But you said that's what you said. You're allowed
I'm
to say.
allowed to. She's my daughter. She's not yours.
I get it.
If you have a young daughter, you can call her a slut all you want. I don't care.
All right. I didn't call her a slut. I just just a small impale joke.
You implied
all
it.
Right.
Implied. Fucking.
My apologies, sir. Here we go.
Teach us something, will you? Tell us some fucking history or something like that. You like the smart one right here, right?
No, I don't know. No, I'm just. You're just a reader. What you reading all them books for? So
fucking thing. Hey,
a well-known, intelligent, elegant Romanian lord, Vlad the Impaler, was an important leader in medieval Europe. During his reign, he stopped the advancement of the Ottomans, and the Ottomans were their absolute. And when I say I mean Transylvania, Romania. Imagine where Romania is now. Wallachia is where really Vlad the Impaler is from. Vlad the Third. Now Wallachia is
a couple of names, right? Vlad the Third. Vlad Tepes. Vlad, son of the dragon.
Son of the dragon. That's right. That's right. And
he lived up to every one of those.
Yeah, and in fact, he did that because
fucking voivode, right?
He was a voivode. Yes, a voivode. However you say that. Lots of intricate terms here. We're going to butcher a lot of them. Yeah, you do. But we're going to, touch upon some pretty big, and everybody's named Vlad, and like pretty big words. So bear with us. So Vlad Draculea, 1431 to 1467. He was the second legitimate son of Vlad II Dracul, right? We'll call him Vladdy Daddy, right? Just to make sure that we know who Vlad the Impaler's dad is. We'll call him Vladdy Daddy. He was you like that, Vladdy Daddy?
Did he have a big dick all day?
Sorry. I'm sure it runs in the family. He himself, the Vladdy Daddy, was an illegitimate son of Mircea of Wallachia. So he was born and raised there, right? And so Vladdy Daddy had won the moniker Dracul for his membership in the Order of the Dragon, like you said, guys.
Correct. And we have a message here. This one's from Keith Burr. Here we go.
Okay.
Who's this fucking Mr. Nielsen fella? I thought you had fucking Elvis, the king of rock and roll. No, Mr. Rocstedi. You'll just have anybody on your fucking podcast, aren't you? Yeah, I don't know. I watched like years of The Crocodile Hunter, and that's the best Australian accent that I can just.
It's still terrible, Keith. No, if you missed out, Elvis couldn't make it this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Crikey.
We have Mr. Nielsen filling in this week instead of Elvis. He's a mutual friend of ours, and he seems to be able to do the job. And we also have a message on the screen here.
I think he fucking fills in for me every other week. That's the way I look at it.
You got to win the job, man.
Keith. Vlad the Impaler is my porn star name. There you go.
Vlad the Impaler is a great porn star name. Thank you very much.
Mine's Brad Naylor.
Brad Naylor. I'd watch one or two just for
carpentry
research.
joke, babe.
So
Jesus was a carpenter.
he was.
So just before I say you probably go into the life, should we explain? I've got a definition here of the impaling that used to happen. So anytime we talk about the impaling, people can kind of get a visual, if that's cool. Or do you have that?
Lisa, cover your ears.
Or do you have that for later down the track?
I was going to set him up with. I was going to set him up until he started warring, and then we were going to get into that. If that's
all right. Do that.
Yeah. That way people can like this. Kind of understand the. Yeah, totally. So
this fucking guy said filleted.
Filleted. So we left off at the Order of the Dragon.
Talking about impaling.
So the Order
talking about filleting.
So his dad, the second, right, Vladdy Daddy, he was very honored to be part of this order called the Order of the Dragon, right? He so much so that he changed his name to Dracul, right? And that back in the day meant of the dragon, but now more in modern day Romanian, it means of Satan or of the devil. So really, the progression of time didn't help him either, and their whole family and their whole like image and outlook, right? And then since he was like,
unless you like that shit.
I'm sorry.
I said, unless you like that shit.
Yeah, unless you like that shit, right? Well, he might.
He was fucking right into it. That's for sure.
Nobody asked him, right? So the Ottomans were their
with the devil.
Absolute. I mean, they were their. I mean, enemies to the death, right? And they were always all around Europe at this time. The Ottomans were always trying to be, conquer and outstretch their conquering radius, right? And everyone on the other side is always trying to push these guys back. They were a major problem in medieval Europe.
I got an Ottoman right in front of the fucking couch.
Put your feet on the Ottoman, bud. Watch a little.
I used to have a furniture store called the Ottoman Empire. Didn't do well.
We have stacks of Ottomans.
It's all I had, as far as I could see.
So what you're thinking is right? The OG Dracula, that's who we think about. This is the guy who formed Bram Stoker's vision of what Dracula would be.
OG Dracula.
Why?
That makes me think like he's got fucking cornrows and shit.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen the new Dracula movie, the Dracula Untold?
I'm from fucking South Central Wallachia. You cunt. Shoot my gun sideways like that.
Bust a cap in your ass. So, yeah, there was a new one. There was
this fucking show.
Yeah, no shit. There was a new one. There was a new movie that came out that was supposed to be part of a bigger universe with Tom Cruise and the Mummy and Dracula, right? They're putting together like the old Universal Studios
fucking
monsters.
Tom Cruise.
Right. They tried to make like a universe and it just fizzled immediately. So Dracula was supposed to make a comeback in now cinematic times, but it kind of fizzled. The movie itself wasn't that bad in my opinion. The movies around it, like The Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein, who would have known what that would have looked like?
So just
you think a gay Dracula would be a cocksucker?
It depends.
Is Vlad the Dracula? Is this where the Dracula story came from?
Yes.
Specifically, yes.
Yes,
he
Vlad the Third, right? I can skip up a little bit. So that's when he used to impale people, just like you wanted to get to, he used to dip a little bit of his bread into the blood of.
Yes, I got that as well.
Right, and then that's where the mythos happened, where he drinks blood, and then he turned into.
Well, I got
Gary
a part
Oldman.
where like he used to have people impaled everywhere all the time, right? So there was just pools of blood running everywhere, and pools of blood would run on his table when he's eating. He'd get the bread, he'd dip the bread, and he'd eat it like that. Like
he had him in his fucking dining room. He did impaled fucks.
Yep.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
exactly right.
I mean, every fucking way.
There's a couple of stories. That was his main go-to thing. So there's a couple of stories that we're going to go into where he actually, like, for example, 2 envoys come, right, and they're Muslim. So as is tradition with them at that time, they took off their headdress, and when they sat down, he had them pretty much impaled right there, and he like didn't even. He found this as a really big insult. He didn't even flinch. He almost had this planned out.
Because they didn't take it off, right?
If they fuck up, I think they did take it off. I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead.
Why would you have to do that?
Yeah, I got a slightly different story there. I don't know what's true or not here, but I got it that they wouldn't remove the headdress because for religious reasons they kept it on.
They wouldn't,
right? Because he did more than just impale people. He used to boil people alive. He used to poison people's wells. He used to do all sorts of shit. And one of them was he'd drive nails into their skull. So the reason that came about is because when these Muslims came there and they wouldn't remove their headdress, and he said, "Why don't you remove your headdress?" And they said, "It's our custom. We don't remove it."
Right.
And he said, "Right, okay. Well, if you're not going to remove it, keep it on forever." Had them away and had nails. He had that nailed to their head and sent back home to let everyone know, when you're in my fucking kingdom, you abide by my rules. That's what he was like.
Holy shit! It come in handy on a windy day, though.
Mr. Nielsen, do you know what impaling really is? You know, like the definition of impaling?
It's like when you shove a big fucking steak up someone's ass, right? You let him slide down on it.
Close enough. Oh, you mean? I thought you meant like a ribeye. You mean like a wooden steak?
Yeah, like a big fucking pole with a point on it.
Right. Yeah. So
you probably have a couple of them laying around.
Just a couple. Yeah. It's it's.
Yeah,
Saturday night.
You fucking stake him up and you go like, look at this fucking cunt. This is the guy that didn't want to take his fucking head off my house.
Is this the way it is in Australia? Is everybody sounds like this?
Just the tough guys like Mr. Nielsen.
Just fucking, I'll just say what I want.
Family reunion's got to be
what are you going to say? You're like, oh, it's when you whittle down a stick there to a fine point like that and you insert it inside of someone. You fucking shove a steak up his ass. That's what you do.
That's what you do. Yeah.
What do you got time to fucking waste with big fancy words? Fuck you.
You're right. It's let me give you a couple. Impaling, you got it. It's a big fucking stake up your ass. Impaling is a particularly gruesome form of torture. Wood or metal poles.
Minutes later, we found out what I said fucking 20 minutes ago.
That's right. In some cases, the pole was rounded and not sharp, right, to avoid damaging the internal organs, thereby prolonging the suffering and prolonging the life of the person that you're trying to torture.
How would that go up there?
The pole was raised vertically.
It'd have to be like
the
slightly tapered, wouldn't it?
It's like a slight kind of like a leaning tower of pizza kind of thing. The pole is raised vertically.
I mean, if it was like a knobbly end like that, it'd have to go up like a mushroom.
I guess you'd go doggy style, right? Doggy style to go in and then just raise you like a...
Yeah, I got something like that. I got something slightly the same. So I got that. They basically get a tree trunk around the thickness of the size of your arm. What was that?
Holy shit!
No, they get something around the thickness of the size of your arm. They'd keep the stake in a fixed position while a horse had a rope strapped to each one of the person's legs, and the horse would move forward, just driving a non-sharp oiled stake up their ass, up through their organs. They want to avoid it. Sometimes it'd go halfway through the torso, sometimes out the mouth, because the purpose was not to kill them straight away. The purpose was to have them hanging there for days or as long as possible.
Think about what they've done.
So that they would squint and moan and twitch, so that if any enemy came, they'd see and they'd be scared off, which happened. Which actually, they took a look at all these fucking bodies and went, fuck that, I'm out of here.
Right. Rocket on a very important part.
I reckon they'd like to take a shit first. You think they'd let you take a shit first? Because if not, it would just probably push out of your fucking mouth. That'd be weird.
I mean, yeah, wow. That's not even how science works. But yes, essentially,
if it comes out that way and you jam it all the way back up and the thing that went in there goes out the front, the fucking shit would come out first, right? Science does fucking work like that.
The pole would have to go through, like...
I'm sure with the amount of bodies that got
people
impaled, that probably happened. I really do think that. So,
I got one right here.
What you got there, man? You got is that it? It's the science.
I just got to round this off a little bit and
make it hurt.
I will shoot
Just
the
like I said.
porno.
what are you using that for, then, Mr. Nielsen? Whacking
It's
your
a good
daughter?
piece of wood here. That's a hardwood right there. It's for cabinetry.
That's a great word, cabinetry. So, like he said, like Rox, actually, you that was a really good analogy you did. So, there you go. So, it was a huge deterrent. It was almost like having nuclear weapons, like impaling people was like having nuclear weapons because nobody wanted to mess with that. Like Rox said, there was a whole forest of these people that they had people encounter, and they're all like pointing.
Really,
like,
how fucking dumb people were?
Like this.
I'm like, don't go over there. They got fucking big stakes they put up your ass. We can't figure out how to do that.
I mean, that's the most visual, like, don't come over here component I've ever seen. I'm not going over there if I see a forest of people on stakes. Yeah,
I just sit my fucking daughter on the front porch and I'm like, here you go, guys.
Yeah, that was actually the climax.
Comparing it to the sickness of Genghis Khan, like not as big a scale. I think Genghis Khan was something like sweeping out 20 million people, right? But he still swept out well into the six figures at least from killing people, and then that was from impaling alone, without actually like burning villages and killing people in other ways. So he was a professional at it. But we do have a message here from your daughter Lisa. So here we go, Mr. Nelson.
Dad, will you stop swearing so much on the boys' podcast? God,
Fuck off.
this isn't fucking Australia, you know.
Thank you very much.
It actually is for you, bro. Not for us.
You have to forgive me fucking daughter. She's had like 14 of those monster drinks. She likes them fucking things. Dad, it keeps me awake. I can be on stereo all night long with these. I'm like, I don't fucking want you to have them anymore. Fuck off and go to bed.
There you go. There's one of those. Brought to you by Monster Brand Coffee Energy Drink.
Now you got a fucking stage 5 fucking cling with me daughter. She's going to be like, hey, I like that AC. He likes the monsters too then. She likes him, yes.
We have something in common. Why, hello.
Leave me fucking daughter alone. She just got pregnant.
Oh, man.
Fucking sultry fucking voice.
Again.
Damn it. She's how many is that now? How many grandkids do you have?
This week and like in fucking total.
This week in total.
I take them down to the animal rescue every other weekend. She doesn't miss a couple in. Like, hey, we got another one. They want, is he fixed? I'm like, not yet. Fucking take care of it.
Dude, tie the tubes. Lisa, you got to take care of this. You got to do this.
I switched out her fucking lubricant with fucking super glue there. Trying to jam up the hole there. Never mind. TMI, they call it.
How do you know this? This is my question. How do you know so much about that?
About fucking lubricant?
Well, about your daughter's lubricant.
Because she fucking has like, every time she puts out the fucking recycling, it looks like a fucking lube store closed down.
Jesus. We're getting thrown off
back to the Impaler.
Just telling you.
Well, I'm having some technique.
Teach us some fucking history, like. So we got a stick about this size of my arm up your fucking ass.
I've got a couple of things
happens?
I want to throw in here.
Yeah, I got it. I got some of his childhood too. So go ahead, Rob.
I think I'm getting you guys fucking.
Okay, so just you go into his childhood because a couple of the things were just how quickly he was prepared to kill people. But there is a little bit of a past that we should cover to give an idea of what he was like and how he was raised. So you go into that.
I heard he was a dickhead.
He was a very sweet boy in the beginning.
That he was.
Very sweet boy in the beginning. But
I heard he was like a privileged fucking spoiled brat who was like groomed his whole life to be like this fucking warlord, like leader guy. They had him in like fencing class and fighting and things like that. He was learning languages, learning religions and history and all that. And he was learning like strategic battle fucking tactics. Right?
Wow.
They were grooming him to be like this ultimate fucking warlord to take over the fucking whole of Wallachia, right?
Which is what a voivod is, right? A warlord of that territory.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he was something else, like a viceroy or something like that. I don't know what it is. I thought he was like a vice lord, like some kind of gangster rapper guy.
They had some really good names for like important people back then. A voivod. Hello, voivod. Come.
That's fucking.
What's going on here?
So I want to be that. I want to be a voivod.
So Buddy had a rough childhood, right? So Vlad the Third, Vlad the Impaler, Not Vladdy Daddy. Not Vladdy Daddy. We're going to talk about him, but Vlad the Third is who we're talking about.
He didn't have a rough childhood. I heard he was like pampered.
But he did have a rough But he did have a rough childhood because aside from all the things that you mentioned, Mr. Nielsen, also he was taken hostage at the age of 11 by the Ottoman Turks, and they actually went over there with the brother, who was actually quite handsome, and the dad, Vladdy Daddy. They all went over to their like home base to have a powwow with head Ottoman guy, and
he was handsome.
They said, you know what? You're going to stay here for a year. And they imprisoned all three of them for a year. Then after the year, they let Vladdy Daddy go. And then Vladdy Daddy is off, on a boat. And he's like, I'll see you soon, my sons. And they stayed there for many years. And so much so, in fact,
they held him hostage.
Yeah,
so
they held him hostage.
Kind
of like
with him, right?
Game of Thrones when you leave somebody over there.
They were kept like an insurance, right? So the father wouldn't attack him, I think it was. And
he wouldn't make any strong alliances with other countries. Yeah, exactly.
So do they make that a habit of like kidnapping kids and stuff like that over in Ottoman, wherever the fuck that is?
As insurance.
Take a vacation there with my dollar and fucking kids.
But when they kidnapped the kids to hold as ransom, or insurance, I should say, the father, Vladdy Daddy, thought that they were dead. He wrote them off as done, as gone.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, imagine the torture and everything they're going through over there. And I mean, at any moment they could be executed. That was the main issue.
Didn't they keep him and groom him to be like their guy now? They were like, this guy's fucking potential. Let's get him.
Exactly. But in the beginning, that's a great segue. In the beginning, it was not like that. It was quite tense. But after a while, so much so that they gave him freedom. They gave him enough land to go and kind of get their own people. This is once they got to be a little older. In fact, the brother, handsome, we call him Handsome Pete. Handsome Pete became Muslim. So he actually took their religion. They, he assimilated to that so much.
You talking about his brother?
Yeah.
His brother?
Mm-hmm.
His brother, I had that name down here. Radu the Handsome. They called his brother Radu the Handsome.
I was going to call him Handsome Pete.
No wonder Vlad had a few complexes. His brother's like the Handsome.
He wasn't impaling Vlad's name, was he?
The Impaler.
We got the one handsome brother and then fucking Vlad.
Soon though. And then the handsome brother was told to have a really, really, really good relationship with Mehmed, which is the king of the Ottomans. And the king of the Ottomans, Mehmed, is also said to also have a very intimate relationship with the boy, Handsome Pete. So Handsome Pete was most likely getting some Ottoman on the side, you know what I'm saying? Because he might have had
some meat between his burgers.
A little bit.
He's getting impaled by the Ottomans.
He's also doing a little impaling or getting impaled. So.
Impaling. Mm-hmm. That's probably where. Look. Let's face it. It wouldn't be just one of the brothers that was getting impaled. Probably both of them were, and probably fucked Vlad's head up big time.
Possibly.
The result is probably key.
Possibly. Now, but they do say
pretty fucking interesting. He was like, you like doing that to me, do you? Well, I'm going to fucking do it with one of these.
I'm going to do it to society.
Sharpened stick berries. Holy shit. I never
But
told
he was
that.
kind of disgusted. Yeah, so according to what I read,
he went from being Vlad the Impaled to Vlad the Impaler. I like that.
That's right.
Fucking,
that's right. I choose.
Poetic justice, they call it.
I impale you.
In the movies. You don't fuck me, I fuck you, you cunt. Right up there, your Ottoman Empire. Fuck you.
Very, very aggressive. You fit right. This is perfect.
I'm going to put this one from right up into Wallachia.
I'm going to ask Elvis when he gets back to see if you can come in for all like the war stuff. Because you give this a beautiful dynamic that I haven't felt yet. Wonderful.
Oh, you'll fucking feel it all. Yeah.
Oh, I'll feel it.
I don't fucking muck around. I got shit to fucking do. I got to go fucking do some things after this. Mainly
you told us a hard 2 hours.
She likes all that Japanese ropey tie shit. I do that with her. It's my business.
You should definitely listen to episode 2, Sexual Deviance of the World.
I fucking made, well, I'm not going to say what I did while I was listening to that.
So actually, Vlad hated the fact that his brother was a poof. He hated it. He hated that. In fact, it made
fucking guy's a poof. Look at that. Poofed.
Right, his brother.
What do you mean a poof? Do you mean a poof?
A poofter.
Like a
fucking soy boy, they call him in America.
A poof. Is that what you guys call it? I wanted to fit in with you guys.
We call him a poof. We don't call him a poof.
A poof.
We call him a poof. Right.
Well, he's, Vlad is pissed off that his brother Handsome Pete became a puff. And now he's...
right.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a poof.
Yeah, well, at least by pop.
He's a fucking gay Muslim. That's a good way to die, isn't it?
That's it. It's a good way to get stoned. There's
not the way my fucking daughter used to.
There's a very 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 high chance that these people were still going to be able to get out while they were young out of this empire. So they eventually did. And when they got out of the empire, they went right back to Wallachia, right? And they are assuming he's going to assume the throne in a little bit, though. What did you have?
Fucking weirdos.
What did you have, Rock? As far as,
I found that strange, man. That part, like they're going to take the kids as insurance, raise them basically like the Ottomans, right? They're going to raise them in their way and then send them back to rule, kind of like their enemy, which is what kind of happened.
But indoctrinated, right? Like, so one of them, it really worked.
Think so. You think so?
Groomers. They're grooming a fucking gay Muslim and a fucking impaling fucking Christian. I heard Vlad was like a hardcore, like Catholic or something like that.
He was very.
I think they were, but Radu the Handsome, he ends up converting over to Islam, and he kind of takes the chill track. He sort of wants to live the prince life, relax, eat grapes, all that shit. So he kind of goes down that track, but I don't think Vlad took it so easy.
Right. He went to combat training. He went to military
take it
training.
Easy, and he gave it fucking hard, didn't he?
He gave it hard. He gave it hard and take her easy, baby. If it's easy, take her easy.
Gotcha. I bet his fucking house was something around Halloween, wasn't it? Kids would be like, let's trick-or-treated Vlad's. They're like, no, he's got fucking people on spikes out front. They're fucking real, though.
He's lost his damn mind. Somebody talk to this
I'm just thinking of the Dracula aspect. When did he have the big fucking hairdo look like an asshole? Did he have that? He didn't have that.
I don't think he had that. I don't think he had that.
No,
I think
he had a big fucking head.
Yeah, that's a Gary Oldman thing. So
that's right. Gary Oldman.
Yeah, good old Gary.
Actor.
So 1448.
That guy.
1448 is when he came back to Wallachia. Is that what you got, Rock? And then
I didn't get the year he came back. I know 1429 is when he when they settled into when they settled first. But then hang on, I'm just seeing
1448 is when they came back.
He was.
Yeah,
what year was he born?
Okay.
He died at 45.
Well, he was born like 1390 something, wasn't he? Old time like that. They don't really know exactly the year. They just have it like a roundabout.
Yeah. So once he comes back, we'll find that. So both his father and older brother and the heir to the throne had been assassinated by Wallachian nobles by the time they got back to Wallachia. So now, great, fantastic.
How can you call somebody noble that assassinates someone?
Ottoman chains. Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny how, It's funny how that happens. So Vlad was the next in line for the throne, but he had to fight to keep it. After being deposed and forced into exile, he regained the throne again in 1456. So he really lost the throne 3 times, and he got it back. There was 3 different reigns of Vlad.
He had to go into hiding, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did. With his new
because they were trying to send assassins to kill him
at all times. But this time, the first time he ruled, he did a lot of atrocities the first time he ruled, and the bloodlust was almost insatiable because what it took to get it back, and then also he felt like he had to keep it because he had to show the whole world that he could, and by absolutely being blind to rage and killing everything in his sight. Not only that, but also like he killed 20,000 people in one day, it said. So to make a forest of dead people on sticks, that's you gotta want to kill people. You gotta want to kill people. So
it's a lot of fun.
He kind of works his way up to that part, right? Yeah. Like
Vlad's logging company.
I got when he. Hey,
I heard a message.
We do have a message from Dad's Cowbell. He says, "Did his captors make Vlad suck their blood? Suck their blood." Yeah.
I know how he said it.
I don't know what he did. He did something, that's for sure.
I don't think anybody sucked anything of his. He sucked. He did the sucking.
So he was a blood sucker, and his brother was a cock sucker.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Forgot about the sucking aspect.
Oh, that's the most salacious part, Mr. Nielsen. You can't forget that his.
He sucked some tenacious D. He did.
Yeah, his very tenaciously. Yeah, you do that very tenaciously.
So I heard that.
I'll quit fucking interrupting you.
After his father and his brother is gone, his uncle was ruling, but he came in sort of after 2 months, beat the fuck out of his uncle, sent him off, and after a couple of months, his uncle came back again and kicked his ass and sent him away and took over the country, and then he had to come back and take over his uncle again.
That's right.
Yeah, so he came back a second time, killed his uncle, took the fuck over the throne, and that's when he really started to rule. And he was about 25 years old at that stage.
Right. And that's when you personally beheaded Vladislav.
He must have been a big fucking tough son of a bitch.
Another Vlad. So there's like 18 Vlads in this whole story. Everybody's named Vlad. Like, fucking get another. Can we call him John? Like, any other name, please.
What a different name.
Why. Vladdy Daddy. Yeah. Gary the Impaler.
I'm Jerry the Impaler. Fucking, my name's Brad Naylor. I'm here to fucking screw your head to your fucking shirt, whatever the hell the guy did. What do you nail the guy's thing? Never mind, go ahead.
I got a quote here.
Confused.
I got a quote here.
I've been drinking fucking whiskey all night.
We can tell now.
Shit. You're getting excited. You need a shot. You need a hit.
I need fucking smoke and I need to impale something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I like to impale a cigarette myself.
Go.
So, human beings on huge pikes wasn't just to punish them. Vlad knew the horrific spectacle they had and other uses of them. Part of the reason Vlad impaled people was so that it would put the fear of God into spectators. Impalement was used as a deterrent. Well, deterrent might be too light of a word for it. Some claim that Vlad's use of impalement was actually an early form of terrorism. So he might have been the first terrorist to actually put forth things in motion where people were actually felt that kind of deterrent from going inside and fucking with them at all, stealing anything or having their way with any of the women or adultery, anything that was against the law at that moment.
I think
you don't want to do that.
I'm going to throw one in there, man. I think I missed it a little bit earlier. He was so brutal. He was so brutal at killing people that here it is. He said he'd hang on, I'm finding more and more. He'd kill people at the drop of a hat. He once had a woman killed for making her husband's shirt too short.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
He killed old people because they were just useless and couldn't contribute to society. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he killed children, and he'd cut a woman's hands off if she was lazy, and then he'd impale her.
Yeah.
And if a woman committed adultery, he'd have her skinned and then impaled.
Adultery was skinned.
And then he'd put skinned.
So you're saying me daughter would have
all the
no
bodies
fucking
around
skin?
on the stakes all around the castle for everyone to see.
You're right. There was a forest of them, right?
So my daughter would have fucking nubs and no skin, is what you're telling me there?
Skinless Nobby. That's what her name is now. We call her Nobby now. We love you.
Holy fuck.
We love
so
you.
at what point do they call these people, instead of like war heroes and war fucking mongers and all that, when do they just say like, this guy's a fucking serial killer psycho? You know, he's just fucking murdering people for no reason.
They were
like,
too
your
scared
shirt's
to
too
do
fucking
that, right?
short.
So-
Impale him.
Just what you were saying there for AC is I think he was setting up little tests. Did you get about the gold chalice that was put in the center of the city? And yes. Okay, you go ahead with that then.
Sure. So check this out, Mr. Nielsen. I think I'm going to blow your fucking mind right now. Are you ready to get your mind blown?
It's already fucking blown.
It's already fucking blown. Let me re-blow it. So at one point, it was so safe. The city was so safe. And again, this is a time where...
That's what the Henson brother said.
Anything went, right? Mbop. Anything went. I'm talking about... You name it, right? Anything that went back, we had a whole Middle Ages show. You should go back and check that out if you want to know exactly what went down.
Except ill-fitting fucking shirts.
That's right, and don't let him see that because that's a death sentence. So there was a golden chalice. The chalice itself is worth countless amounts of money. Yeah, and they put it right in the center of town. And the golden chalice was there, and he said, "Please come drink upon this cup whenever you need it." And he was pretty benevolent about that, but. No one touched the cup. And some say for many, many, many years. I mean, if you were to do that, everyone was so, even he gave his blessing to do that. And if you were to do that, people were like, I'm pretty sure he's going to fucking kill me. And in the worst way possible, keep the cup. The cup itself is worth an untold amount of money. So imagine the respect that they had for this man after seeing a
It's not respect, it's fucking fear.
Well,
it's a difference.
It was fear, but so I had two stories. I heard one that he had this golden chalice in the chalet in the middle of the city, right? Mm-hmm. No one could, anyone could drink for it, and he warned for no one to steal it.
Right.
You can drink from it as much as you like. Don't fucking steal it. And everyone was just too scared to even drink from it.
Even drink from it, right.
But I heard that he had a few peppered out in several towns as well in the same thing. I don't know which one it was or the other.
It's all the big test, yeah. And they were probably all real because, I mean, obviously the man had a mad amount of wealth, so it could have been all of them, but who knows? I can tell you that. To this day, legend has it, all those fucking chalices are there because I'm not getting impaled. Period.
So they had no, like,
kind of how fucking sick he was. So what he would do, right? He was 25 years old, So when he was 25 years old, he was a ruler, and he had a big banquet dinner for all of the royals to come around from all other towns. Right? He asked a question in passing, just like a cool casual. So how many of you here have ever ruled before? Just like and people put their hand up. Whoever put their hand up, he immediately had them gathered and impaled in front of the others. Right? And he had their families killed as well, right? So he was wiping out all of his competition.
Right,
he was totally wiping his good.
Of course.
So he said, whoever put their hand up immediately got rounded up and impaled, and their family members too, and he took their land and their money and their weaponry and everything that they had. While the remainder royalty that was left at that table, he made them go to his father's old castle and rebuild it by hand until their clothes disintegrated off and they died of exposure and malnutrition. He's just a hardcore motherfucker.
They would just die
How
working.
big was the fucking castle? They had to work that long? Jesus.
It was pretty fucking big. Yeah, those
made
people
royals
rebuilt
do
it. Yeah, the royal. Yeah. That's what's the beauty of it, Rock. That was awesome. The fact that they got their comeuppance. Stories like this, people never get their fucking comeuppance. The old king dies, and then the shit transfers to the next idiot that doesn't know anything about ruling and is probably inbred and frail. No, this guy was like, fuck that. You've wronged me. You're making my new castle. You're going to die doing it. And your clothes are going to disintegrate in the sun. That's how much I'm going to work your ass. There was no 401k. There was no 401k.
No. How
fucking
long did it take to build a castle back then? I'm thinking I got
Well, it was his dad's old castle. So
you're the Freemason.
They must have had shitty fucking clothes back then. I know it rained. Me fucking shirt fell off. That's too short.
He was
Dad's gonna impale me.
He was so fucking brutal, right? That once there was a trade deal going in with the Saxons in a Saxon city, right? With his merchants and the merchants of that town. And it was a bad trade deal for his merchants. So he went with his army and rounded up the 41 merchants that were involved and their kids, impaled the whole lot of them. So it was 341 people that got taken out, and he took their money and valuables for a bad trade deal from his merchants.
I think I'm seeing a pattern
the power he had.
I think I'm seeing a pattern develop. He just likes shoving things up people's ass.
You know what? That might be very true.
Find some more reasons. What day is it? Tuesday? Whoever's left-handed on Tuesday gets a fucking rod up their ass. Come on, line up.
Monday night, I'm like, fucking.
He's crazy. You know what, though? If they had fucking live streaming back then, pay-per-view and all that, this guy would be a fucking billionaire. Who wouldn't watch that?
For real.
Look here, kids. Tonight's episode is kids who took the last fucking piece of candy out of the cabinet that they knew was Granddad's.
Impaled.
Here. Hey, Lisa, check it out. This is the ones where daughters just keep having illegitimate kids. It's fucking right up the ass there.
And speaking of which, great job bringing us into there. Let me put some color on that. He's indiscriminate. He is women.
Color brown. Right
women,
up on the fucking
children,
rod.
men, the elderly. You fucking name it. He's doing it.
He used to torture rats as well.
Anything.
He used to torture rats. Anything he could. He was just fucking sick in the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely sick in the head.
So
holy shit. What was anything safe around the guy?
The mass murders
Nothing.
to show you really how what it will be like today. The mass murders that Vlad carried out indiscriminately and brutally would most likely amount to acts of genocide and war crimes by today's standards. Romanian Defense Minister Lone Mircea Pescu asserted that Vlad would have been condemned for crimes against humanity, and he would have been put to trial at Nuremberg because of the things that this man did. I mean, people are called war criminals for nothing now. Imagine this guy would have been they would have killed him immediately.
Message.
Oh, we've got a message.
You enough. This is a delightful sound, man. I say
it is, isn't it? It's I don't have to cut it and go, excuse me, and people think I'm just cutting you off. There's a sound there, so it's beautiful. Again, just before we take this message, anyone wants to leave any messages, you can do so by clicking the link on the fortune cookie here on live on Fireside, and leave a message on Instagram, and we'll play your message. Here we go. Here's one from Lisa Nielsen.
We'll gladly do it.
Nielsen, your daughter. She's got another one.
Oh, go ahead.
Guys, this Vlad guy is a little bit crazy, but it's a little bit sexy, don't you think? It's a bit of a turn on. All those people he's actually stuck a spike up their bottom. Jeez, I mean, God, that's get me in there, will ya?
Spike up their bottom.
You
got to keep it together for the whole 2 hours.
Liza, quit calling the fucking show. Sorry.
We're gonna have to have her on one day, just as a
I'd love to have
as a guest silhouette.
Me fucking safari sheets. Sorry.
Whatever they may be. All right, so So, going back to that. Oh, we've got a
fucking leopard.
We've got a message. Hang on.
Yeah.
First time it comes through, it goes to spam because we haven't got you. But we've got a message from Bad Bunny here. But let's go to Jazz Cowbell first. It sounds like the only people who were safe were the guys who had the job paying everyone. Yeah, I believe so. They're probably the safest ones. Let me just get this one sorted here.
Yeah.
I saw it come through.
The ass stabbers were safe. The ass stabbers were like, I'm the guy, like the executioners back in the day. They were.
I reckon they fucking carved it against the grain so you wouldn't get a splinter.
Yeah.
While you were dying.
They were considerate woodworkers, of course.
I think so. They're probably nice guys there.
They would do it with the nice.
I've got that message coming through, guys.
Imagine going home from work, telling your wife about your day. Like, oh, what happened today at work, honey? Oh, I made another big thing to stick up someone's ass.
Yeah. I made 5 widows. Exactly. 5 brand new fresh widows.
She's like, honey, I made you a new shirt. Ah, fucking hell, can you make it longer? Please. I'm going to bring work home with me.
But not too long. Not too long, because you know what happens then.
I don't want him to... If I bend over and he sees your ass crack, he just gets excited. He's like, fucking impale him, get him.
Impaled, yeah. The answer is, whatever you think the next answer is to the question, it's impaled. Impaled is always the answer.
So what do you think we should do tonight? I think we should impale a few folks. Yeah. Like this guy doesn't even have he's getting kind of bored with it, I think. I mean, how many times can you do it before you're like, you know what, let's do something else. Maybe light someone on fire, something like that. No, he's like, no, I still like shoving things up people's asses. Let's keep going with that. It's working. Just fucking
we've got a message here.
It's fucking good for go ahead.
Message from Bad Bunny. Here we go.
Fucking show.
What's up, Rock? What's up, King and AC? Great show.
Thank you very
I
much.
think this audio is overlapping, but great show.
You have to turn
you got to sign out the show, leave a message, and then sign back in.
He sounds about like the kind of guy who likes listening to shows about things going up people's fucking asses, doesn't he?
Well, the way.
Just kidding, man. Just fucking roasting a little bit. It's the whiskey talking.
There might be a way though. What I've done in the past is I've lowered the show. But while it's lower, just go to Instagram without signing out of it and leave the message.
Fucking hell.
That might
doesn't
work.
quite work for everyone. Doesn't work for me that way. It still picks up the background sound.
Okay. You gotta
you can try
plug in some headphones or something like that. Maybe some noise cancelling ones like this. This is my fucking grandson's gaming headphones. Puts these fucking things on. He's like,
sounds great, Mr. Nielsen. You should give
toots.
You sound so great that it's actually it's overpoweringly loud sometimes. Yeah, it is good though. It's much clearer compared to Elvis is a little quiet some weeks, so this is good.
This is great.
I'm fucking boisterous. I like to yell. I have to. I've got like 87 kids running around. I got to talk over them. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. So
I'm a little teeny and all
to Vlad. All right, here we
I
go.
work next to power tools all day long. Drowns out the fucking wife. Go ahead.
He gave us the go ahead.
How big was this guy's dick? It's fucking huge like that, I heard. We haven't even talked about that. I wanted to talk about shit and dicks.
It's engorged with blood. Always.
I heard they cut that fucking donger off and put it in a fucking museum somewhere over there in fucking Romania, right?
You know, I tried to research that part. I really could not find that. I really could not find that. I found everyone else's dick in a jar, but I could not find Vlad the Impaler's dick in a jar. I really couldn't, and that's because I got the tip off before from Elvis said something about that.
Let's see.
I think so. I'll look it up though. You can fucking turn your.
I'm looking at the 9 most important dicks in jars right now. Can't
Mr.
find
Nielsen, that light shining slightly on your face, very slightly.
What's that? Oh, all right. It's my fucking glasses.
Right, I'm gonna get you a little bit here with Vlad.
Go for it.
So Vlad, I think he was ruling in about 1459, but the Ottoman rulers who kidnapped him as a child, they came to invade, I believe, and this is kind of where his sick, twisted shit came out because he really like ramped it the fuck up now to make an example out of these guys. This is where he starts to kill fucking football fields full of people, right?
It's excessive,
loads and loads.
Yeah.
The problem with the Ottomans is that they outnumbered Vlad and his men by 3 to 1. They had better technology, better weapons, better horses, better cannons, and everything. But they still couldn't take him. Because he was just a smart motherfucker at war, right? He was really, really clever at the shit that he would do, and he was just sadistic as fuck. So he totally scared off his guys. He'd have people impaled all around the castles, and he'd try to keep them alive and squirming as long as possible. So that would like fend off the enemy, because they'd just be like, "Fuck this shit!
I'm not going in there.
Going home.
I'm not going in there. Fuck that. This is not even war. This is like a sadistic shit show of like how many people can I kill? Like, you dare me to kill a field full of people? I'll fucking do it, just so you won't step into my. I mean, it was what better? I mean, he did, right? Like Eminem, right? If I rap up shitty about my own mom, then, you know, you can't come and diss me. So it's the same thing. Like, hey, I've already killed a field of people. You're not coming in here. You know what I mean? Like, I've already done it. I've already done the thing. So
he made an art out of it. He would kill people, and he'd actually impaled as many as in one particular field. There was well, I don't know what the measurements were for back then, but it was 23,880 something. 84 people or something specifically that were on stakes, right? And he had them put up in geometric patterns. Like, he made an art out of it. He was like a fucking
crop circle
killer.
Right.
Yeah, like crop circle shit.
No, well, exactly. He wasn't. He just told people, make it autistic. I don't know why I made it.
Like the guy that built the
make it autistic. Everything's
You reckon he paid that fella every stake he bought? Or you think he just had him? He's like, hey,
he just think about. I mean, what size are your football fields back in America?
It's 100 yards, isn't it? Like 100 yards.
Oh, no. I mean, how many crowds does one particular football field hold? 20 or 30,000 people?
77,000 people.
77,000, right? So a third of that or so. People. You know, a third. Look at those. Is that like your biggest one?
It's up there.
I think they got one down in fucking Brazil. It's like 150,000.
Actually, Penn State.
Let's give something people can compare to, though, right? But so you've got one that's around 77,000.
Penn State is 120,000. It's a college football.
100,000 people in one fucking room.
In one fucking place, rocking it.
Oh, yes, is there one that's something like around 30,000 that you can compare?
That's big basketball.
Okay, basketball, even better. So you got something like that, like a whole stadium full of people that were all standing up on spikes in a geometric pattern, and you've just walked into this ghost town because everyone's just wiped the fuck out.
What are you going to do?
You're going to turn the fuck around and go back to where you came from. Right. We do have a message here real quick from Daz Cowbell. It says, they say Vlad was the inspiration for Dracula. I wonder if he slept in a coffin at night so nobody could impale him while he slept. Yeah, good point.
That's
I
actually
never thought about that.
That's a good. He was probably fucking super loony too. You know, he's like, let me get in this coffin.
I'm just going to sleep in the coffin.
Yes, I am not. He does everything like Dracula, but he's not Dracula.
Why wouldn't he just make
23,144? 23,145.
Holy shit! Don't fucking Google that. All kinds of shit comes up there. I think I know her. Holy fuck!
You're looking at dicks.
I did find the picture. The dick in the fucking jar. It's not the right.
You do? Okay, because I couldn't find it.
I
was sick of looking at dicks, to be honest, and I had to bounce on that fucking particular part of the subjects. But
wish me fucking daughter would say that.
Just for a while. Come on, Lisa. Don't do this to him. So
I found it. I'll fucking send it to you. It's disgusting. It's a fucking severed cock in a fucking jar.
Are you going to send me a medieval dick pic? Because I don't want it.
Oh yeah, he's fucking
yeah. I was going to say who's taking medieval photos, but of course it's a pickled dick now. It's like it's a pickle jar.
It's a jar.
It's a jar.
Yeah, you know I can't find it anywhere.
Who pickled it from back then?
I can't find a pic. You know what? Fuck it. Send me the pic. I want to see it now.
Just fucking put on the Google search. Vlad the Impaler's dick in a fucking jar.
In a fucking jar.
600-year fucking old dick. Come on.
You don't have to scroll through a bunch of BBCs there.
I just wonder what it would taste like. It would taste like those pickled pickles, right? Those,
a very briny kind of like a dill.
Vinegary, slightly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seminal, slightly.
I never thought it'd be fucking discussing what a pickled dick would taste like.
Oh my God, why are you telling me this? Any more coffee?
This show's fucking.
Yeah,
I'm
also going to post what Wallachia, like this whole like area, looked like. It was Moldavia,
Wallachian dicks in a jar,
or Moldavia, and then Transylvania, and then Wallachia, which is all Romania now, right? And
and somewhere merges with Turkey somewhere, right? Like
it was all Ottoman Empire. Poland was to the very far northeast up by Moldavia, so Moldavia's here. It's going to be on the far northeast corner, Poland, and then Austria was on the west side, and then the whole Ottoman Empire was on the bottom. Ottoman Empire was trying to absolutely take over most of Europe, all of it. So they were always a threat, and everybody was against them.
Did we lose Mr. Nielsen? Hang on.
Looks like it. Looks like
bring
it.
him back there. I just gave him the access back, but let's carry on. It might be having a technical.
So let me kick it out to the audience. Maybe you guys have you guys seen Bram Stoker's Dracula? Have you guys seen the new Dracula Untold? Do you prefer Bela Lugosi? Do you what's your favorite vampire? I know it's a little bit of a he's the guy that this is all based on, but still, let's have some fun with it. What's your favorite vampire? Now that we're talking the greatest of all vampires,
I can't say I ever really had one, but I suppose now. Now you got looking back, it'd have to be Vlad, wouldn't it?
Now you
got the original. He's the OG, bitch. Yeah.
For real. I mean, I like his moxie. I like his moxie. Yeah. Every time he impaled someone, another one.
Up the ass.
Sesame Street producers are like, perfect. That's what we're gonna make. Ours is gonna be purple. So I'll continue a little bit while he gets back on. So in 1453, the city of Constantinople, which is modern day Turkey, right? Istanbul, Turkey, right? Istanbul was Constantinople. Istanbul. You ever heard that song?
Istanbul, no. The song, no.
They Might Be Giants. They were on the Animaniacs, if you remember that. So Constantinople fell to the Ottomans, and then threatening all of Europe with an invasion, like I was saying before. Vlad was charged with leading the force to defend Wallachia from an invasion. So his 1456 battle to protect the homeland was victorious. Legend holds that he personally beheaded his opponent Vladislav II, another Vlad, but we'll call this one Vladislav II, and in one-on-one combat. So it was almost like akin to like Robert Baratheon and Rhaegar Targaryen battling it out at the Battle of the Trident, kind of two monarchs, two people who were high level here going at it to the death. So, and that's obviously the best way to do it. It has the most honor. People were obsessed with honor and how to strengthen their region, their homes, their everything that they work for. They want to be able to get honor and renown back from it. And that was really the whole bartering system. As long as you can honor these people, they were willing to do anything. Let's see, surprise. I'm not going to this show. Thank you, Fireside. So
he just got Mr. Nils just got bounced from the show, so he'll be back in a second. He's just doing a reset.
Yeah,
so all right, so what do we got here? I've got so I've got the part where some of the stats is that there was a Transylvanian city called Cebu. Here we go, accept request.
That's right.
Back. Let's just give him this access back again.
You call it Cebu? Cebu? How did you say to pronounce it?
Yeah. I didn't know how to pronounce it, actually.
Yeah.
Cebu. I don't know, Cebu, yeah. Which he conquered in 1460. He had 30,000 people in that city and surrounding area impaled. So that's on top of the 23,000 that he had before. He had another 30,000 impaled. So just think about how many fucking trees he's hurting the environment with, man. Cutting down all these goddamn trees.
But think about the compost, the healthy compost he's making for the next batch of trees. I mean, he's putting some wonderful mulch out of those people that are disintegrating into the ground, I would say.
Yeah, it's a point of view.
Can you hear me?
That's right. Yeah, we got you now.
Yeah, we got you, bud. Welcome back, sir.
The fucking phone's like 100 and it's like fucking on fire. This app is like it makes my phone.
The phone has been hearing you for an hour. It's like, fuck this.
Yeah, you came in hot from the start.
I almost impaled it.
It's the only one you got. So
sorry about that.
So we talked about
what is code word for drunk?
Sauced, pissed, right? Pissed, knackered.
He's killing fucking football arenas full of folks, and he's doing all that. What else we miss?
So you made it back just in time. So we progressed to 1460, and now he's around his second battle, where he went one-on-one with Vladislav II, and he won on one-on-one combat. He says that he beheaded, legend has it, his opponent. Now, Vlad also earned as much of a dark reputation for another occasion. He reportedly dined, this is what we were talking about, dined on the warriors writhing on impaled poles, the defeated warriors that were still alive. And he would go around dipping his bread in one of the victims. And it's just unspeakable sadism throughout Europe. And it was just something that was never seen. So imagine pioneering a new level of evil and then be known for it, all throughout Europe. So it's like, who's that little badass country named Wallachia over there? They're doing some fucking power moves.
Do you think he was just trying to freak out his guests, or do you think he really had a hard on for dipping bread in blood?
It might have been something that was overblown too. It might have been like,
oh no,
whoever wrote the story. Remember, the stories in history are written by the victors, and sometimes
one of those things.
Yeah, not even him. And somebody was like, "Yeah, let's make it saucy."
I reckon he was actually had a fucking screw loose, and
like you're trying to scare the shit out of your fucking enemies.
Back then, and he basically,
good point.
He basically fucking had no help, man, and he was with the power that he had, he was able to run free and just fuck shit up in a sick way.
He had a lot of free reign, and nobody. I mean, when you're the monarch,
no one could dare pull him back.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, and once you cross a line, he crossed a very profound line.
Hey, you know what though? Like, what if everybody just said like, no, we're not fucking doing it, and then he wouldn't have any power. He couldn't impale everyone by himself, right?
He was so powerful, he would make you impale yourself. He's like, get on that pole. Get on the pole. That's right. Slide down it.
Well, I'm saying, like, if everyone just said, fuck off, we're not doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that takes
fuck
a level
off, I'm not shoving a stick up someone's ass for you fucking cunt. You want it done, you do it yourself.
I think at any moment, like, that would take, like, a lot of planning and stuff between the slaves and all that. I think the people that are in charge would keep those people way apart from each other.
Not really. If everyone just said, hey, let's just fucking tell them to fuck off today.
There's like thousands of them. I hear you.
How much planning would it do? Everyone just says, no, I'm not doing it. Fuck you.
You're like slightly bright there.
But a lot of people just want to make it to tomorrow too. Yeah,
I can't fucking see shit.
I can slightly. But anyway, I was going to say there's another thing is that did you get the way that he'd attack his enemies as well? Besides the impaling, he'd do things like he'd poison his enemies' water wells.
That's right.
He'd burn down their towns in the outskirts and all their food supplies. He'd find sick, diseased people in his own village. He'd dress them up like the enemy, and he'd send them into the enemy's villages and towns to mingle and just make everyone sick, like fucking, like spreading the SARS virus or some shit. He was
and that's what sets him apart. It wasn't just a wartime tactic where he would use that to gain the upper hand and say, you know what, in this strategic, I need to starve the enemy, or here I need to, poison them so they can't regroup, whatever, right? No, these are just going around going, I think today I want them to starve and them poison their well, and don't tell them, and now they won't know nary a clue, and they'll find like, does he have couriers coming back going, they're very ill, sire, or it must have been so simple back then, just getting like people running to you going, yes, my lord, what news of the town? The town is overrun by, vomit. Oh, yes, exactly what I want. And, huzzah! You'd ring a bell. Like, how do you celebrate those victories? It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me.
All right,
you fucking celebrating by impaling.
It's a celebration tonight. Impale more people. Yeah, find me more people to impale and impale them. You know the answer.
Exactly. Tonight we're going to celebrate. Get the fucking impaling sticks ready. Here we go. Come on, everyone. There's a party.
Fuck out of sticks. Like, oh man, he's going to go on a tirade. Imagine he killed 20,000 people in one day. He impaled them. You needed to have the reserves of poles. And did he say like, oh, make me 20,000 sticks so I can then impale these people? Did he already have that number in his mind, or did he have to make them retroactively? Does he have a endless cache of poles? I have so many questions.
I find that particular story a little hard to believe. I don't find it hard to believe that he impaled like over 20,000 people, but in a day, that's a lot of fucking people to impale, man. I don't think that could physically be done.
Well, like it was a big country. There might have been a lot of people. I think we underestimate the power of
he had
being
about
scared.
a third of the people that he supposedly attacked the Ottomans with, right? And there was 23,000 Ottomans that he impaled. So there would have only been a third of the people. So everyone had to impale 3 people for the day. I suppose it's possible.
Yeah.
I suppose it's possible.
Or if not, guess what? We're impaling 4.
I didn't catch that much.
If you don't impale 3, you're going to be impaling 4. You're going to impale yourself.
I think they probably had you make like an assembly line for that. You have like several people doing it, so like maybe a mechanism.
Come on.
A bunch of them like
Slide
that.
on in,
and
then 2 guys put you up. Oh, there he is. Man, Australia's got the good Wi-Fi.
We've got a message for you, AC, from
fucking horrible.
AC, sick shirt, my dude. So just
thank you.
Keeps fucking freezing up.
A dingo ate your baby. A dingo ate your Wi-Fi receiver.
And we got another message from Das Cowbell.
This fucking thing's going crazy.
Yeah.
It says,
can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah.
You might have to slide in and out.
You might have to just, even if you let your device cool for a couple of minutes.
You might have to
let's
get out and then re-impale the show.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Can you hear me?
Got you now.
Is it better?
Maybe sit off the camera for a minute. Yeah. That might be better. Just let that thing cool down. We've got Daz Cowbell that says he was green. He recycled the impaling poles. Yeah, that's a good idea. He recycled the impaling poles.
He would be a fool not to. I mean, I don't think he's worried about hygiene. I don't think he's worried about... I would definitely like toothpicks. Just like
You think it was worse, like getting it the second time around? You think people are like, "Oh, this one's still warm."
But not only that. Remember, we were talking in the medieval times when we were talking about the Catherine wheel, and we were talking about all that stuff that goes up your butt, and the way they would do that. I mean, imagine for a moment the utter intrusiveness of getting that pole up your ass and then going way too far, and then just hanging there. Your very weight is pulling you down the pole, just like in the Catherine wheel. I'm sorry, in the Judas cradle. Like, could you imagine? Like, it's.
You ever went to like a public restroom and sat down on the fucking seat and it's still warm? And you're like, this is fucking disgusting.
Almost feel the guy's ass and what he looked like, right? He materializes before me?
Exactly.
I can look him in the eyes.
He's always much fucking fatter than you, isn't he? You're like, oh my god, the sides of the fucking seat are warm.
Overhang.
How fucking fat was this guy?
Yep. When you open it up,
it's kind of
the ceramic
sweaty.
bowl's hot somehow.
Exactly, all the way down. You put like a heat fucking gun, and you think like the people that had a warm pole up their ass, they were even more disgusted. Like, oh god, now I'm dying with someone else's fucking ass juice on here.
Some germaphobes definitely like ill, like dying, going down the pole, going ill, coming out his mouth.
Give me everything. Give me everything. Give me everything. Yeah. So
can you hand me a napkin, a white?
The guy's like wiping it down with like fucking what do you call it? Hand
like
sanitizer.
A stripper.
He's like, wait a minute.
He's going up and down like a stripper. Can't be too careful.
Fucking.
I don't want to catch
medieval germaphobes.
Hey, Josiah on deck. Josiah on deck. No, Jedediah, get up here. All right. Remember to tip your waitress as a bartender.
Like the smallest population ever. Medieval germaphobes.
Right. We already talked about this, and trust me, they are not worried about their nails. Could you imagine wiping your ass and then having the nails come up, and you're just like, let me go ahead and put that in a bowl of water that other people have come and done this with, and think that this is going to make any difference whatsoever, and then go about my day. Hello, hi, my name is so-and-so.
High five.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they bowed. They were like, don't touch my hands.
You look
my
nice
leash.
today. Yeah, have some biscuits.
No handshaking.
Yeah, so did you hear the part where he actually he used to trick his enemies about the way he dressed up and sent his men into the Ottomans as well. So he had his men dress up like the enemy and sent them in, so they were mingling with the enemy, right? Then suddenly they turned and started attacking them. And they didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Like the Red Wedding.
Their own men were attacking themselves, right?
Yep.
So they're like, shit. And then they've realized that it's them dressed up like that. So they start fucking attacking back. But he called his men back, and they all turn around and go, get him, it's them. So they start turning on each other, and they all just snuck away and let the enemy just fight themselves and kill themselves off because they didn't know who was who, and they were all paranoid at who was killing each other.
That's fucking
and they
genius.
were just like laughing and walked off.
It was a game.
It's fucking genius, all right?
It's a game. It was a social experiment.
Like fucking two fucking rugby teams with the same uniforms on.
Right. The Blues and the Reds, they're both blue today.
We're both winning.
That's right.
We're both losing.
Going with the Blues.
Yeah.
The Blues start killing the Blues. The Blues freaking out. The first Blues back up and go, it's them, get them. And then the Blues, the original Blues just killing each other off, and they're just fucking laughing all the way.
And all the Reds dressed in blue were like,
fools.
Fools. So Transylvania is a real place, guys. What do you guys know about Transylvania?
Not much, except for that's where Count Dracula came from. That's it. I don't know much about the place.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some of the most picturesque castles I've ever seen, and it's like these incredibly, like, really impressive, kind of really dramatic cliffs that these things hang out on. And they also have a good concentration of caves, which means what? Bats. So I think that's how that worked into the lore, was the bats that they had in Transylvania, and then eventually, Dracula. Now I'm trying to bridge the gap, intellectually, between
so long
how they got to that.
Quite possible, man. I mean, these things weren't recorded properly, right? We can only speculate, but it seems to make sense. I mean, all roads point back to there, pointing to Rome.
I like the bat thing is like they had that folklore about like shape shifting and all that. Like, he took on the form of a thing and flew away.
Well, that's ancient. That's Druidic. Like, you can take the form, like a Beastmaster kind of a thing, where you can take the form of, and can't the devil do that? Can't Satan take the form of different things?
Well, that's why the guy's a fucking Dracula. He's a devil dragon thing. You said that in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of true to his name. But that's funny how that happened, because Romanian then turned his name into more of a devil, the name devil, where before they were honoring being part of this club, this fraternity called the Dragon, where his last name is actually Tepes, like Rock said. But, eventually he was like, I am so proud to be a part of this thing that I am willing to change my name, my family crest, the whole thing to Dracul, which was much cooler.
All the butt stuff, I think, turned people away. All the butt stuff, like, what? I was cool with this club until he started shoving everything up everyone's ass, and now I'm not down with it.
Yep. So, were you here for when the Ottomans took Constantinople with the second? I
don't know. I've been fucking over here yelling and things like that, but my phone keeps scrolling a thing across it. Like, poor connection. Like, fuck you. It's expensive.
Yeah. How much does the internet really cost?
Your fucking life.
You're fucking right.
Fucking soul out.
Yeah, right.
We got a message.
Oh, yeah. Play that message.
Got a message.
I hope it's about Bram Stoker's Dracula.
From your daughter, Lisa Nelson. Here we go.
Oh, my God.
Guys, this is the best show ever. Really, I really love this show. It's so good. Like AC, you've got so much knowledge. Dad, you're doing good up there too.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you very much. I missed the last part, but thank you very much. Okay,
thanks, Lisa.
She loves you. I think you guys are gonna one day really hit it off.
Who's that? Rock?
Yeah.
Better not.
Hey, what's that?
Isn't Rock the best scenario if she ends up with Rock?
Ain't gonna happen. Not on my watch.
Okay.
Look, I wear that for a reason. All right, I got a wedding band out to fend off
that
women
just
like
makes
your daughter,
Lisa more restricted. She knows there's no commitment.
All right, I got a couple more points about Vlad here. Right, going back on track. So, I already ran over the whole skull thing. We talked about that first, but I sort of went over that. But and other ways he used to kill people as well. So he'd have this big copper cauldron pot. Did you come across that at all?
I didn't. No.
Okay, so it's big, because he used to just love watching people die, squirm, be in pain, be tortured, right?
Right.
So this big cauldron pot, it was empty. They put a big wooden lid on it and had a hole in it for their head to come through, so that they could hang the person in there with their head up the front, right at the top.
Wow.
Then they'd fill it with water. Then they'd light that pot to boil. And you can imagine how long it would take for this pot to just heat up. I don't know how long, because it's a big pot, enough to fit a body or two. I don't know how many would fit in there, actually. And so it would just kind of start off with this cool water, probably feeling a little fresh. They may be a little nervous. Then to this lukewarm bath, to this fucking boiling water. And he'd just sit there and watch them scream in pain and beg for their life. And I bet this motherfucker back then had soda and popcorn, just like it was the movies, just watching that shit.
Yeah, and I mean, again, another tactic to just take the piss out of any enemy.
Scare the shit out of folks.
I mean, come on.
That's happening in his castle.
Yeah.
That's just his personal entertainment.
Yeah.
Imagine the pretty fucking fingers on that guy when you took him out.
Oh, you mean his fingers, his actual fingers? That's funny you ask. Thank you for saying that. Thanks to his terrifying tactics, gruesome stories began to circulate that Vlad's supposed bloodlust took him to actually washing himself in the blood of his victims as well. So he actually had a well or a thing of blood. For example, he relished in pointing out all of Vlad's like his depravities. So he would definitely go in there and kind of like I'm not sure if he like bloodlust, like a bloodbath, kind of a bloodlust that seen in the movies where like it's just a humongous bathtub. I wouldn't put it beyond him, but it doesn't really say that. But I mean, if you're washing your hands, just a little bit. Come on, is like
there's some sick people. Look,
so
we did just last week or week before there was a woman eating her own shit. There's people that are out there that are fucking sickos, right? They've been touched in the head and they do some sick shit. And this guy who was tampered with as a kid, brought up to be a warlord, and he was sadistic and loving the shit he would do, torture rats. Why wouldn't he bath in his enemy's blood? Like, I mean, I can't see him not doing it, right? We missed it. We missed a part earlier that I want to say too, is that he had another banquet. He was big on having his banquets, and there's all impaled bodies around the dinner table, right? And one of the people there was just like, ugh, the smell like, ugh.
Oh, he was offended by
something wrong. They're
corpse.
just like, oh,
how dare you?
It's a bit heavy on the nose. And he's like, okay. He's like, have him impaled this person on a really high stake so that they were above everyone else so that the wind could breeze past their nose so they didn't have to smell it anymore.
So he was like a considerate fucking psychopath.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? First of all, I don't even know if this is realistic.
Instead of not murdering people on stakes, I'll just put them up really high. Fuck yeah.
This time, the woodworkers must have been so fucking tired. The woodworkers of that fucking place was like,
it was a good job.
Every whim. He was like, okay, now listen to me, guys. I want you to make a stick, but I want it to be really, really long. So, like, I don't know if you're going to put 3 together or whatever, but I want to do the guy really high. And he's explaining.
Well, apparently, the higher the ranking of people too, like if they were like high ranked people in the enemy, he would stake them higher so they could be seen more as well.
Of course.
This guy had a fetish for it.
Oh, that's good.
He'd
like a trophy.
Like a trophy.
So for women and babies, right? He'd do this. He'd get some mothers. He'd impale the mother. Then they'd hand the babies back to the mother to suckle at their boobs until the mothers couldn't hold their infants anymore, and they'd drop them. Right, so it was like a way of torture.
Like, right, of course. Like, I can't drop this baby, and then eventually,
the instincts to hold it. Yeah, that's right.
Of course, just like everything else, just like going back to the Judas cradle. It's like yourself. You're the one that's letting go, and it's like, oh my god, this thing's going up my ass. It's going up my ass. And imagine the same kind of like vulnerability. I mean, you're boiling alive. Oh my god.
Sure.
Oh my god.
The other one was the other way that he would kill babies with them is he'd cut their breasts off, cut their womb open, shove the baby back in the womb, and then impale them so it went through the baby and the mother.
My God.
I know.
Now, even if you made this up and it wasn't true, like for a moment, think about the fact that this might not be true. The person that made that up is just as sick. Like, how would they come up with that? It would have to be done at one point for somebody to do this. I mean, it's... I'm
sure that this shit happened knowing the stuff that happened back in the medieval days was all sorts of weird shit. I think they were desensitized to their stuff, right? And they were just getting worse and more sadistic along the way. And it possibly happened.
We're getting a message from Mr. Nielsen?
We've got a message from Mr.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. You sounded kind of like
I'm back in here
for a minute. You're there. Thank you.
We've got a couple.
I got like a shit connection.
Yeah, I think it was dropping in and out a little bit. Yeah, we've got 2. We've got Daz Cowbell. It says, the boiling of people in the castle was just an old style humidifier. That's right. It smelled like chicken. And we've got one from
Christ.
Mr. Nielsen. We've got a message there. Should we play that or not?
Oh, yeah, you can play that. Probably.
All right, here we go.
Maybe.
Directed at us. Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on, Rock?
Oh, shit. Hey, man.
Mr. Nielsen, thanks for stepping in, man. You're doing a hell of a job. Bang up job. You guys are really...
Everybody get up for King.
Bringing up shit and dicks, just like always. Boy, I think we should all seek psychiatric help after this episode. Not you, Mr. Nielsen. You're fine. You're doing really good.
doing your proud, King.
So the audience is a little quiet today, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. After so much commotion last week, I was so happy to see everybody.
I know, it was crazy. I couldn't keep up, and now this week it's just they're just sitting there listening in
shock.
There we
go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he's back.
Got you, Mr. Nielsen. Yep.
All right. All right.
I had to swipe out of the thing again.
No, it's being a little tricky today. So yeah. So all in all, Mr. Nielsen, I want to give you a number here that might blow your mind again. I know your mind's been blown a few times, but I want to blow it just one more time, softly.
Go for
In
it.
total, Vlad is estimated to have killed about 100,000 people. Okay.
How many?
Various means. Yeah. Remember, one day, he almost blew his whole wad and did 20,000 in one day, supposedly, but about 100,000 for his whole, which hey, ain't a bad career if you're in the killing game. So this includes 20,000 people who were impaled on the same day outside the city in Tagoviste. And the sight was so repulsive, like we said, that it was just horrible. And it was the crows would come and eat the corpses that are impaled in the front lawn. Imagine decaying bodies everywhere, picked apart. Just these people would go back to Constantinople, just like we said. But
what was the population back then? 100,000 had to be a lot.
Yeah, well, we're talking about
probably only a couple of million people in the world, right?
But remember, they're coming from the Ottoman Empire, which is huge. They're marching over to Wallachia, right? Or to right to Tagoviste. So by far the most famous battle between Vlad happened on June 16th, right? And I'm not sure we talked about this in 1462. Have we gotten to 1462 yet? That might have been the next one.
No, I've got a couple of things, and then I've got 1462. But you go ahead.
Yeah, no, please, do that, and I'll go into that. The 1462.
Well, okay, so 1462. No, before that. So I had a couple of things. So they were trying to get Vlad. I don't know if my internet's coming through okay. It says poor connection right here, but
you're okay.
I'll go for it anyway. They got his brother Radu the Handsome again because he had that good connection with them. See, and they asked him to lead them to the castle, the Adamans, right? So he did actually met a small bunch of them, and they walked through the forest right up to the castle doors. And this is where Vlad started to realize that he was kind of caught on the back foot, right? And he had to retreat. So he left his wife there. She kind of was going to get captured, so she just climbed to the top and jumped the fuck off the castle and committed suicide because she didn't want to get captured, but that's possibly correct. She didn't want it. She probably realized that she wasn't going to get impaled by another 13-inch penis around the place either. Right. So time to hit the day. Right,
she had to make a decision. She had to make an executive decision because the other side of that was going to be horrible. So, but imagine being so humiliated by that, right? That your wife just would prefer to throw herself off the tallest tower than to spend one more day with you. Imagine that. Just impale her corpse. Impale her, pick her dead body up, and impale it.
That doesn't have the same pack the same punch if she's already dead.
I know, but I mean, or just at the top of just on the bottom of the tower, just have a bunch of impaling sticks.
Maybe she just jumps straight off into one of those,
like right in her mouth,
stakes,
like reverse.
Yeah, died just the way she liked it.
Yeah,
13 inches. So
spit roasted,
impaled.
This bitch. So
it's the third episode in a row. We're like this bitch. I'm trying to make it a thing so we can make some apparel with it later. This bitch. Okay.
So
we'll make some fucking merch. This bitch fucking shirts.
We got some this bitch mugs, and with a picture of a girl eating a mattress, and another one taking a shit in the bucket. The mug with the girl that shits the bucket. It's our thing. It's our catch thing.
Call that my pillow guy and be like, "Hey, make me some fucking shotgun candy mattresses, you fucking cunt."
Okay, I'll do it.
So basically,
I'm Mike Lindell. I'll make you fucking edible mattresses.
From the castle, right?
He
was so clever at what he was doing that he made his men shoe the horses' shoes on backwards.
What?
So that when they ran from the castle, it looked like they were running in, and they couldn't follow them to where they were going. He was that brilliant.
Holy shit.
They were like,
that guy's a fucking genius.
Where'd they go? They all ran into the castle, but we don't know which way they've gone. And he retreated. He was able to retreat. Then I've got to 1462.
That's like way smarter than teaching horses to run backwards, isn't it?
They're getting there, right? Come on, Clip Clop, you're going backwards today. But you're going, and you're like, wait a minute, look at these fresh tracks, sir. I see them. They're going the way we came.
The head carpenter guy, the guy that made all the stakes, I heard his name was Rod.
A lot of guys named Vlad and Rod. Rod was one of the most important names.
Rod, he was Rod the Impaler.
Right. Rebar. Rod Rebar. 1462. This was a huge... 1462 was a big year, Mr. Nielsen.
Was it?
Yes.
Right.
Let me tell you just how big it was.
I'll take your fucking word for it.
Our hero, Vlad the Impaler, sees himself by far in his craziest battle, right? So Vlad III, the Impaler, our hero, when the Ottoman army came more than 250,000, was defeated with no more than 30,000 men, including young boys. So his army was 30,000 men, including young boys, and the people he was fighting was 250,000 strong, right?
But he had like 197,000 stakes to go up their wrists.
Right.
Just ready to go.
Right. They were just counting the army, but really there's like 300,000 impalers back there. Like, we're going to come out there and do our thing. Sorry. We have to. So Vlad harassed the Ottomans with many unexpected night attacks. So he was playing dirty, man. If he was in a street fight like we were last week, he'd gouge your eyes out, like King said. Did you catch last week's, Mr. Nielsen, when King was grab his eyes and rip them out and scoop out his larynx and punch his throat until? Did you hear that?
Shove a big stake up his ass.
Do you feel the same?
Hey, you reckon after he killed all these Ottomans, he put his feet up on them, and that's where they got the name for that?
Oh yeah, he stacked them 5 high and just like.
He's like, I'm relaxing now.
Yeah,
these Ottomans.
I like. What are we going to call him?
I'm going to name my footrest after your empire after I fucking destroy it. Fuck you.
It was a one-liner. He's like, I'm going to make your empire into a footrest. And he really, really did it.
You guys are just a footnote in history now.
Ashley Furniture Home Store now presents 5 dead corpses high Ottomans.
I'm Mike Lindell. I make these my pillow Ottomans.
So aside from
regular and diet
night raids where he would go in there and mess up the other teams like food supplies, and he'd poison the well again, like he poisoned their shit. He'd get in there any way he could. He was the eye gouger. He was the nut puncher. And he mobilized all his people to do so. So on the night of June 16th, Vlad the Impaler, together with a handful of men, organized one final night attack on the Ottoman army. They entered the enemy camp, disguised as the Turks. I think you had already said this, correct? When they were just kind of earlier today, when they dressed up as the other people and they started killing each other to assassinate the Sultan. Yeah. That's right.
So just a different way to get church.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was, I'm sorry, I didn't get the actual date, but yeah, that was June 16th, 1962. But we were 1462, but we were jumping around a little bit. But yeah, this is the one where he made all the
jumping around because there's a bit that I missed as well, a little bit. Sorry, just some of the different ways that he used to kill people. I don't know if I mentioned them all here, but obviously driving the nails into the skull of those guys was one of them, right? But he used to cut off people's heads, their limbs. He'd strangle them. He'd burn them alive. He'd cut off ears and noses. He'd mutilate their sexual organs, skin people, scalp people, tie you up to expose you to the elements so that you'd get eaten by animals.
Yeah.
I heard he used to
mutilate. And if he had some real fucking fun, he'd fucking ask you, do you like pies?
Do you like pies?
He'd
fucking do you like the fucking pies or not? So, just to touch upon, now that we're getting back into the show, I want to touch upon
fucking green pies.
Green fucking meat pies. Round them up, lads. So we're touching the back end of the show. That's a pun. Touching the back end of the show. Rub it a little. I did want to bridge the gap here between that so long ago, 1462, 1475, when he actually passed away at the age of 45. He did so much in his life. I mean, imagine what you do back then. By 14, you're already, tilling the fields of your murder victims. So he's done so much. So considered to be like how he changed the lives of not only Bram Stoker to make him the face of how we see Dracula and vampires today, being the original one. Let's bridge that gap now. So considered to be basically the one that changed the lives of vampires forever. And it also changed the status of Romania, which has rapidly became the kind of the hub for vampires and Transylvania as we know it, right? Nowadays, both Vlad and the Impaler's life and the places related to him have seen a lot of historical evidence, but they've also seen a lot of roots of the fascination of Dracula. So a lot of people come in to Romania to kind of get those things. A lot of people who sanguine vampires. I would imagine they're like, let's save all year and let's go 2 weeks. Let's go to Transylvania and stay in a fucking castle like we were talking about in episode 1. And they're like, fuck this shit. When they get to, they're like, everybody shits in a hole. So good luck on your vacation, kids. But they label Vlad as a human flesh eater, a sadist, a merciless devil worshiper, especially by the Saxons and the Ottomans, obviously. That can be considered one of the first, best, vast, long-lasting campaigns of negative branding ever. So it could be that he just really got a bad rap.
Until now.
It sounds like he did. It sounds like he didn't, but I also want to, got to play both sides here. What if he was a great guy? He is revered as a Romanian leader, like that was a hero. And people think he's a hero today. So how we see him, maybe they romanticized him in another way. So, for example, like the birth certificates of future Dracula and other vampires like Lestat and Armand from the Vampire Chronicles of Anne Rice, like were etched into our minds, probably because of this guy. So Vlad the Impaler, the majority of them are concentrated in Vlad's like vicious reputation as far as what he's done and what is etched. But again, we don't know if those things are real. So I do have to say that at the end of this. Things are on the internet. It's very nicely said. It's shocking even. And it probably sold a lot of clicks and papers to get the story out. But again, it's not, we weren't there and we don't know what really happened. But
and most people back in the day didn't know how to read and write. I mean, history's kind of fucked, isn't it?
That's right. So yeah, exactly. So people like Anne Rice take up, and then those are our new vampires. She romanticizes it and makes it gorgeous. R.I.P. Anne Rice, by the way, she died last year. I read all those Vampire Chronicles. It's one of my favorite series of books. But
mine's the dictionary.
Right when I was about to say something. As the story goes on, and the legendary Dracula seems to be restless, right? A new book based on the Impaler's life is out. We had Dracula Untold. So he's a Universal character, right? He's owned by the studio, Universal Studios. So we have to wait at the behest of them to make a new Dracula. Yeah, they own the rights to Dracula. So that's the issue. So we have to wait for our favorite character, the one that was developed over so many years, the Bela Lugosi one, the guy who, even the guy from the Munsters, Nosferatu, the really ugly Willem Dafoe one. There's all types of. You got
the guy that's the puppet that's like 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. But the vampire Lestat one, the one that we want to see, the one that is Armand Desante, was it Antonio Banderas in that movie?
Count Chocula.
So, those are the ones you want to see. The ones with the very sexy, like Latin ones, like I am.
He's a black vampire, isn't he? Count Chocula.
Oh no, Eddie Murphy was a black vampire, but Vampire in Brooklyn. Yeah, that's another one.
Guys, we got a couple of messages here. We've got one from Jazz Cowbell that says, "Great show. I think I'll grill shish kebabs tonight." And we've got 4 on the screen.
Enjoy that.
We got 4 from Jocelyn. Tell me how you really feel. I'm not sure how long ago that was. Oh, that's a little while ago. Oh no, it's only a few minutes ago. Jocelyn, oh my God, I know it's early, but please let me tell my vampire joke. Next one is clickbait, nom nom nom, and Jocelyn again. No one puts my baby in a corner.
That's right.
But Vlad will.
I heard her vampire joke sucks.
Oh no, my screen. Okay, and I have a little bit about from 1462 though.
Yeah, a little bit more on that. That was his last hurrah.
Okay, so it is the last hurrah. So basically, he went to meet with the King of Hungary to make a deal for the end of all the shit that was going on. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get to an agreement, and he stormed out cracking the shits. He was pissed off about the whole thing, but the whole thing was a setup, and he got captured by a bunch of Czech mercenaries.
Swiped up.
Which they imprisoned him in Hungary from 1462 until 1475, right? In 1475,
you reckon he said you better check yourself?
Check yourself before we wreck yourself. That's right. And they did that. Exactly that.
He was the OG then. He
was the OG.
So he's in prison for
the remainder of his life.
13 years. And then once they released him, he immediately goes back and he conquers Wallachia again. He conquered it again, right? And in the end, they went to attack it again, so he's defending it again for the second time. In about 1476 or 77, is unsure, but he dies. He gets decapitated by the Turks, and they send his body back home to Turkey, and they kept his head at the front of his house on a stake.
as apropos.
You, we got you, bitch.
And I heard that they cornered him in a marsh, like in a very swampy place, where he actually knew, like, okay, that's it. Like, after all I've done, they're definitely gonna fuck me up in this field right now. There's only so far he could have gone. So, but he lived to the age of 45, and he killed over 100,000 people. I haven't made $100,000 in my life, so imagine killing 100,000 people. So imagine do you think he had any weight on him? Do you think that his conscience was clean because he was pious, or because he thought he was cleansing his land because he was protecting his people? Or do you think, I mean, everyone's the hero of their own story from their perspective, but he was the baddie. He was the baddie, right?
He was quite the baddie, man. Yeah.
But the Ottomans were baddie as fuck too. You know?
He must be the best bad guy there is. Like, what's worse than
he was the baddest man
did?
on the planet at the time, I think. Yeah, I'd have to say he was.
But imagine getting to jail. Like, getting to jail, you have to punch the biggest guy so they can, like, know that you're down for the crown, right? Like, he only had 30,000 people at times against a 250,000 army strong. So he had to do what he had to do. Resourcefulness. Let's make a field of dead corpses that are writhing in pain to make that huge army go away, because I can do things that you can't psychologically. I think that was brilliant.
I believe, from my understanding, he would go out into battle with them. He'd actually go out and he'd fight with them on the field too. Like, he'd just sit back. Like, he loved it. I think he got involved in all the impaling. I think he got involved in the whole thing. Probably rubbed a bit of blood on his, fucking masturbated with a bit of blood or something like that, you know? Yeah. Blood and tears.
Put it on like mascara.
Almost ready for battle.
You got my rouge. My fucking bloody rouge there.
But apparently he wasn't a very good looking fella either. He was as ugly as sin. So
if it looks like his picture there, he looks like a fucking weirdo. Like,
I did see a fucking guy
I never
that
caught
made
any
like a
real
3D
pictures of him.
imagery of him.
Shit. I want to see what he looks like.
Bitch.
He wasn't. You saw Mr. Nielsen, right? You saw that big old, like, long face. He looks like Jafar from Aladdin.
Yeah, some fucking guy did a 3D imagery of him, and they're like, "What would Vlad look like?" And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Everybody was like, "Oh fuck, burn it
off!"
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to do a quick.
Stake up its ass and burn it. It's disgusting.
Hey, Mr. Nielsen, would Rock, if I may, Mr. Nielsen, do you want to, as our guest host, do you want to shout out everybody in the audience and see who's there, because we haven't done
this. Like all frozen up. You guys aren't moving anymore. I can't make the screen do anything. You want
to swap in and out, and then we'll bring you back on stage.
Yeah, swap in and out. I want everybody to hear your smooth voice saying their name.
Shit, I can't fucking do it. It's really
people want it. Mr. Bombastic in the crowd, and while you swipe in and out, Mr. Nielsen, I'm going to give the listeners a quick shout.
Mr. Bombastic.
You want to do that? AC, you're
hello.
It's up to you.
Oh, I'd love to. Hey, everybody.
Okay,
how you doing? Thank you so much for staying with us and checking out this really hard topic. I know we bounced around a little bit. It wasn't perfectly chronologically done, but we did our best, and it's a lot of information. This one, can I jump in there? This is one of the ones that you might want to do some structure on, but we winged it.
Yeah, and no, but actually, to find the information wasn't very structured either. There wasn't really a smooth sail to research. It was kind of trying to pull. It actually came out the same way as it was for me to research, because some things would be at the front, which should have been later in the story, and vice versa.
Right.
So,
but also
delivered the way that we got it.
Yeah, but also the best part is the impaling. So we want to get right to the fucking stabby stab. You know, like I want to see
stab up.
Yeah,
that's right. Straight in the dot.
I think he was a lot like Joffrey Baratheon. Joffrey really wanted to see things die. Was interested in like killing rats and like, you know, shooting a crossbow into things. I think it was a lot of that sadomasochistic. I think that's probably where a lot of that came from too. Seriously, like, you know, let's twist the head off this fucking mouse because we can. That's when you know you have a fucking serial killer on your hands, dude. Like, put that kid away. If he starts killing rats and shit, put it away.
Yeah, when kids are torturing animals, that's just one of the massive telltale signs that they're a little fucking touched in the head, right?
Right. Yeah. Man, this touched asshole got his throne back 3 times. Resourcefulness. One time while he was out fighting, like you said, Rock, when he was out fighting, they actually took his throne when he was out. So, I'll be right back. And then he goes out to like, I'm just going to go fight this war. And then everybody's like, yoink, this is my seat now, you know? And and it was the third time had to do with the church and a bishop called Corvinus, and he really had his back. But by the time he got back into power, he was kind of a puppet. He wasn't totally there. But it was his ego. It was his massive ego and the want to be the head of Wallachia and the voivod.
Dude, I was just so impressed with the shoeing the horses, shooting
Amazing.
backwards,
Amazing,
running away. It looks like they're running into the castle. I was like, that's fucking smart, man, for back then. You learn what it's doing to the horses' feet. But anyway,
I'm already thinking about the horses and their poor feet. What Buttercup and Clip Clop probably were in so much pain. Poor babies. Snickerdoodle.
So we're just getting some messages. Mr. Nielsen's having some connectivity problems, so but that's okay. We're gonna tail off the show anyway.
Yeah.
So
I got some more stuff to keep.
Oh, you have?
This rolling.
Right, let's do it.
Let's
do it, brother. Let's do it. I thought you were finishing. Sorry.
Well, I can finish up. I can.
No, keep
probably,
going.
Yeah, give you this information that I think this is a key. We already talked about the movie, how that connects to kind of modern day vampirism, not the Twilight ones. Do not clap it. Okay, fine. I'll do it. Clap it up if you like the Twilight Saga. Anybody? No claps. Good. Yes.
Clap.
Excellent. Those are the bad vampires. We love the underworld vampires, right? The scary ones. You seen Underworld, Rock?
Oh, maybe a long time ago.
With the vampires and the werewolves. I like the dark ones with the flipped up collar, The ones that have guns.
Yeah.
Can you hear me there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Welcome back, sir.
Got a poor connection. It's fucking raining or something outside. I don't fucking know. I'm here.
Oh, you just chill there. We're going to start to tell the show off soon anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah. One more little thing here. So,
listeners.
So aside from the Vampire Chronicles, Romania got a lot of fame from all of this, and from there they got a lot of tourism and things like that from people who are really interested in this. So Michael Beheim, a German writer, contemporary with Vlad, wrote in 1463 his Dracula poem, which framed the leader as in very dark colors. For more than 100 years later, the German poet Fischeret wrote, describing Dracula walking among the dead people enjoying his meal. So everybody painted him in such a horrible light all around Europe. Ooh, you're clicking in and out. So all around Europe.
I'm just gonna mute you for a second there, Mr. Nielsen, because there's a funny sound coming through.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So all around Europe, this guy got a really bad rap. Obviously, he did it upon himself. So why am I touching upon this to end it? Because this person had to do extreme things in order to either win back his throne, protect his people. So remember, everyone is the hero of their own story. Everyone is the protagonist through their eyes, and no one thinks they're the baddie. But what he had to do set off a chain reaction in Europe for the next couple hundred years that not only set strategic, kind of things that the military voivods would take from that and be like, okay, we can poison stuff. We can put the shoes on backwards. We can throw people off the scent. We don't have to be so militaristic where we have to
lowered the bar. Yeah,
you don't have to go right. Exactly. Yeah, he lowered the bar. However, cut to the Civil War, we're still in line with the muskets, right? That's another thing. 1463, I believe, was the year that they had a battle, and it was one of the first ever recorded times where people used gunpowder, an actual gun. Did you read about that?
No, I did not know. But Mr. Nielsen, there's heavy breathing going on your side there, sir.
Just.
Is it?
It's better now. Yeah, I think it's better now.
Are you okay?
If you're masturbating to the thoughts of that.
I was finding a nice way to put that. Mr. Nielsen's such a nice man. Such a nice man. He was getting a little hot and bothered over there.
It's fucking internet. I want to punch it in the fucking face. I do.
Mr. Nielsen, we'll just mute you for a minute till your phone cools down a little, because I think you're having some troubles there.
Oh, I am. It's like the fucking phone's like hot. It's actually cooling down now. I can hear. Can you hear me?
All right. Yes, we can. Go ahead there, AC.
Right.
Yeah. So no, just to put a little bow on this, despite being called a sadist, a masochist, someone who takes actual pleasure from watching people writhe in pain until they die or their skin peeling off, or watching someone boil, waiting for them to drop their own child. These things that are honestly unrepeatable. And really, this podcast has made Sunday morning so wonderful. It hasn't affected the rest of my day at all. But despite all of those things,
I'm about to go the fuck to bed and have some nightmares.
I'm going to go watch Dracula Untold because I want to see some Dracula now. Now I have a hard on for vamps. And not those twitterly ones, those twinkly fucking vamps. Twinkly vamps, the diamond studded vamps, the ones that glow. Like, I don't like those. Like Seattle vamps. Nobody likes Seattle vampires. Okay. But despite all of those things, like it was so gruesome and so horrible. His celebrity grew over the hundreds of years. Bram Stoker picked that up, kind of fantasized it a bit with, his name. It just fit the dark castle, the killings, the blood. And once you put that puzzle together, it gave us all of that amazing stuff. Like in, the early 1900s when we saw that black and white Dracula that, everybody with the cape that everybody just puts that over and it's very white. And that was the classic vampire that we would get forever. Even Leslie Nielsen looked like that when he did, right? What was the movie that Leslie Nielsen did when he was a vampire? You remember that, Mr. Nielsen?
I fucking can't remember.
You can see it in your head, can't you?
I know the movie. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was
dead
ridiculous.
And loving it.
Dead and loving it.
Dead and loving it.
That's it. I don't think I've ever seen that movie, but look, even that guy got it right. The grandpa from the Munsters, all of that. So whatever happened, it sparked something in this century that gave us all of that incredible stuff. And then, of course, my favorite vampire is the Nosferatu vampire, the one that is the Crypt Keeper, the one that has very long fingers, the one that's been morphed by time and is an actual creature. I think
it gave everyone inspiration. Blade. It's like, what? I could be I could live forever even if I suck.
Yeah. And then there's Daywalkers, right? We got Blade. We got Walkers. I'm a Daywalker.
I'm just fucking glad I'm born in this day and age in the 21st century because like any of those last fucking 1,000 years from a couple of hundred years ago onwards is absolutely fucked.
A lot of butt stuff.
It is just,
and not in the
society has been a shit for a very long time, man. And I think we got nothing to complain about this day and age.
It puts it in perspective, doesn't it? Whenever something feels like it's what a suck day. Was it? Are you writhing in pain next to your brethren in a field of
Did you ever get a tree
corpses?
trunk up your ass? I don't think so.
Did you say you were hot?
I had a picnic planned today. Now it's raining. Life is ruined. It's like, oh yeah, take a tree up the ass and see how you feel about that.
A literal tree. Hang there for a while. So it almost like this is years after the crucifixion, right? So it's almost like a take on the crucifixion that it's even more brutal than that.
Way worse.
Would you rather have your hands and feet nailed to a cross, or would you rather be sitting on a pole? Right? I feel like 100%. I could rip that off if I gotta go. Yeah. Ugh.
Nail me to anything. Then getting never mind like them trying to fucking think. Jesus Christ.
Keep that thought. Let's say good morning and hello to Dave and Sam from the Married Couple Podcast. They've joined us, just like you said last night you would. I took your word. And they're here. Go follow the Married Couple Podcast here on Fireside as well as their Instagram. They're awesome people.
How was your day every Wednesday evening? Right. I think it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right.
I might want to call it How Was Your Week then?
How was your week tonight? How was your week tonight?
Did you finish giving the audience a shout out before, or did we get distracted?
No, Mr. Nielsen. Talk to the audience, let them know who they are, and thank them all for being here. Would you?
I can't fucking read that.
No. I'll read it here. Let me have a go. All right,
you
so we've got Renee. Glasses. Thanks, Renee, for joining us. Waitbot is always here. We've got AC, of course, and myself that are there. Shani, thanks for joining us. We've got Red Rose, Truthful Sweet. We've got Felicity. Patrick, thanks for joining us. We've got Keith Burr. Another fellow firesider, Keith Burr, who has his show.
Feature Firesider.
So you think you can funny? It's on at the end of the week.
Right.
We've got Charles. We've got the beautiful Charlie, who's always there and always supporting as well. Thank you so much, Charlie. We've got Hillary, who's been sitting here as well for the show. Bad Bunny. We've got Ray Z, who does shows here as well here on Fireside. We haven't got Elvis in here, but we've got Mr. Nielsen in his place. But I think Elvis is listening from.
He's definitely listening. Yeah.
Yes, we've got Miss Spectacular. Thank you for joining us as well. Cunty McShitballs, best name on the planet, Cunty McShitballs.
Cunty's in the house.
So he's in the house as well, yes.
Hola, buenos dias.
Justin, Jocelyn is joining us as well. Mr. Bombastic. We've got Jared Legends. Thanks for joining us. Dharma, and I think that's Dharma Ghost from Stereo. So welcome to Fireside, brother.
Yeah.
We've got Ben here. Daz Cowbell. We've got Shian. How you doing? We've got Will, Dave, and Sam from the Happy Married Podcast. I said that wrong. The Married Couple Podcast.
The Married Couple Podcast. I can't even say it.
Yeah, I know. It's too confusing. Change your name, guys.
We've
got Patrick as well. Robert. We've got Worm in the house, and people are moving up. We've got Mo Camps. So everyone's clapping up. You're starting to shift at the end, but I think we've got everyone there. Mo Camps, you know, your picture threw me at the start there. I thought you were actually my ex-fiancé for start.
Oh, and a special shout out to our new friend.
And then I was like, oh, it's Mo Camps. It's very different, that photo there.
A special shout out to our new friend Jocelyn. She's a comedian in LA, and I follow her Instagram now. It's very entertaining, and you guys should too. So check out Jocelyn here, and I'm sure she's going to do some pretty cool content.
Thank you so much. We're gonna tail it off now, right? AC, I think the time is perfect. We're gonna hit 2 hours on the nose in a second. So, let's give each other a plug where we're from. Elvis is not here this week, but you can always find him here on Fireside under Elvis King. And Mr. Nielsen, I want to thank you for joining us this week. I don't know if there's any other social medias we can find you on, but if there is, give yourself a plug right now.
No, I don't like the fucking computers and all that. I play, with real fucking people in the real fucking world. So you can find me at the fucking corner fucking pub there. I'll be having a pint sometimes like that. Punch ups, things like that.
Fucking pint?
Okay, AC, where can we find you?
This has been the best show ever. I love this. I'm having a fucking ball. I'm going to go laugh my ass off and cry in that bathroom over there.
Oh, I forgot about the ball part. Did you hear about the part where Vlad cut people's balls off? He'll cut their testicles off, stuff it in their mouth, sew their lips together, then send them back home?
To their wife?
Yes. Hey? How are they even walking with no nuts like that? That's
my God, you just can't dump that at the end there. That was Jesus.
Oh, I'm sorry. And he'd bind their hands behind their back so they couldn't obviously take it out.
So they're bobbing for balls?
So they, unless they're with their buddies and they're just I don't know what they were free balling.
I would put their buddies in their mouth. I get really creative if I was Vlad. I'd be like, no. Put the balls in the friend's mouth and put their balls in the other mouth, just to make it awkward.
Now Kith.
So ball lips.
We have that last message from Lisa. I'm just going to play it again. Mr. Nielsen, your daughter. I think we've played it already. I'm just going to play it again.
Guys, this is the best show ever. Really, I really love this show. It's so good. Like AC, you've got so much knowledge, and Dad, you're doing good up there too. Rocstedi, you're pretty good looking though. I really like you. I do. Yeah. Come to my house,
God. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
I'm blushing for you.
My house,
wait a minute. I want to be the good-looking one. Why was I the smart one? Fuck that.
You're the smart one. That's it. Okay. And myself. Okay, so AC.
You can find me if you touch my face. You can find me here on Fireside. AC is on fireside@gmail.com. You can find me at our Shotgun Candy podcast Instagram, which is shotguncandy_podcast, and then you can hit my AC name. It'll take you right to mine. You can send me dirty pictures, a message. You can send me thoughts on why I have such a punchable face, or
30-inch Vlad dick pics.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you have any Vlad porn, that's what I'm trying to collect some Vlad porn.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah. Maybe some Vlad cosplay. I'm willing to negotiate with some chainmail.
All right. So, and for myself, Google the Rocstedi podcast or Rocstedi. I'm sure you'll come up with wherever it is. We're on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the whole lot. Discord.
Should I keep going? Blah, blah. Yeah. Before you finish up there, Rock, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts is brand new, guys. Critical for us. It took a while for it to get on Apple Podcasts, but now we're on. If you can find that and give a review, and whatever star rating you think. I won't even ask for 5, but 4. Please, may I have 4? Whatever you guys think, but please, any interaction there, we're brand new, and that's really where the magic happens. So thank you for supporting us on all those platforms, Deezer and Stitcher.
It really would be good if you guys can do that. If you can just go off and find us on these platforms, give us a rating, give us a star, give us whatever you can. It helps push these podcasts out to the world, and we're starting to get some traction. We've got some good information and stats from Fireside, which we're loving, and we want to thank Fireside especially for this because we fucking love Fireside. If you want any interaction, if you're listening on any other platforms, Fireside's where it's at for you to interact and be live with us, okay? So you will catch it on all these other places, but this is where it's at. You can hear the crowds and the clapping that are live. That is not a soundboard from us. That is actually the live audience. So
we're not pressing the button. They are.
The audience. We had some more people drop in since we've called out the names, but thank you. We're just ending the show, unfortunately, but thank you for joining us anyway. Go back and watch the replay. That's another thing. Yeah. If once this show's finished in a minute or two, hit the fucking replay, man. We got some good replay numbers coming up here. So that's
last
pretty
week
cool
was
too.
the best interaction
yet. Out of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Last week we had 48.
We're going to share the shit out of it. So if you can hit the replay, that actually it helps get the word out too. Share it with a friend. We're doing all that stuff now. We're going to start pushing for that shit. Share it with a friend. The audience is building. It's getting exciting.
Amazing interaction. We had 48 listeners, and everybody was interacting, and it was really great. So it was actually, by the numbers, the biggest show. I mean, take your pick of which one is your favorite, but each one is a little different. So I want to thank Mr. Nielsen, our very, very special guest, featured and won the best content creator at one point of Stereo. I mean, these are people who are talented and joining our team when we need to get better, Elvis, or wherever you are. Rocstedi, take us away.
All right. Remember, don't kill the fucking bees. They're important.
They're important.
Thanks for listening this week. We'll see you all next week.
Don't impale anybody.
Where's the weight bot when we need him? Here we go. Hang on.
Get out there and start impaling, guys. Get out there, man. Mix it up with them.
All right. Thank you. Signing off.
Te quiero mucho, todo el mundo. Bye-bye.
Frozen.
Let it go. Let it go.
It's frozen, man.
You're good. You're moving to me. I'm not. You hang up.
No, it's not. My screen's frozen, so
you hang
I'm
up.
going to swipe in and out.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. You hang up.